Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Solana. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you are enjoying the content, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description down there, you'll find a link to Discord. Check it out. It is free to join. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff now. So the main way I'm still looking at this is that we've potentially completed into this high point here of this 2714. So now that leaves us with a couple of options. We were looking for this deeper retracement here in this B wave, and I am still anticipating this is a possibility. There is always the case that we could have just had a really short B wave and we could start to push to the upside from this point. But the structure here is not ideal for this to be the case. We will talk about a way of potentially counting it bullishly, but really it doesn't really say anything more to me at the moment than just a corrective move up. So this can always change, and it could just be getting some extensions in it and it'll start to move up, but for the time being it just does look corrective. So I'm still looking for this potential to come back down into this zone of this 1966 to this 1038 range. So this would be looking for this as a B wave retracement, or alternatively as a wave 2. So I'm tracking both these options. As a B wave, effectively off of here, if we did have to come back to this 50%, which is this 1469, we could actually look for a move up towards this 4936 at a 1-to-1. However, if we did extend up higher rather, this 104.04 would be the wave 3 target. So we'd have to obviously see how this progresses. It is always possible, like I said, that this could actually just start to move up from this point here. We're going to go over a couple of scenarios to do with that, but basically to make it a bit neater, it would be sort of better to come down for this B wave to low down here, and that would look to potentially actually retest the center channel line that we had, and then potentially from there we will have a look at what we have, what targets we can have to the upside. Obviously once we get this B wave low, then we can look for that better indication of the next moves up, and we can start to talk about some potential bullish structures. However, from this current point here, we can also argue there are some here, but primarily this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the fact that this could just be a bigger corrective structure here, where we've formed this as an A wave. We're looking for a B wave, and then potentially we're going to come down in this C wave again towards this 1850 zone to the 1643, depending on how high we come here. So the way I'm looking at this move currently is just as a corrective W, X, and a Y. There is a possibility that this can look to extend out, and we will discuss that within the video. But effectively what I'm looking at here is the possibility that we could form an additional X wave here, and then we get this Z wave to the upside. So if we had to measure this from this point here onto this current area, I'm actually going to take it down to this 1-to-1, because I do think we might have a little push down here still. That would actually bring us up to this 3026. So we can also see this would be a 1.38 to retrace, well, extension of this A wave to the upside. So this is a common area if we're going to get an irregular flat that this B wave can come. So it might be interesting to see whether we actually get this additional push up here. So that 1-to-1, like I said, off this area would actually be that 3026. So that's an interesting area. We could see a reaction. I also have this trend line drawn here, just off of these previous highs here, just connecting them up. And you know, this also does lie within this zone. So we can actually potentially look to see a few areas of correlation here. Obviously, we've got some horizontal resistance coming in here as well, at this 3029 sort of range. So there's a few areas there that could be particularly interesting if we do actually get one more push to the upside here, and that could then offer us that rejection. And what we'd want to see ideally, if we are going to be looking for this option, is once we complete this move, to actually see good 5-wave structure to the downside, something like this. And then what we'd be looking for is basically, upon completion of the C wave, we'd want to see a nice strong push back to the upside. So the targets for the C wave, like I said, it depends how high we go exactly. If we come up here to this done that the wrong way around. Sorry. Rather, let me measure this correctly this time. If we measure it off of here, that 1236 to that 1618 would actually be in the zone of this $20.60 to this 1831. Though these can always extend down slightly. So, you know, this depends how high we come exactly. If we just look at the current level, then that would bring us right here into the zone of this. Let me delete that now. This 1850 to this 1643. So this is what I'm currently looking at. We've actually taken this A-wave high. So technically speaking, it could actually just reverse from this point, and it could just be a WXY. I'm just keeping an eye out for this potential support zone here of this 1-to-1 of this X wave. So that's this previous wave here. And the possibility, like I said, that we could actually see this 2466 offer us support and we look to push up. The other areas of support that we'd be looking for would be this 2442 to this 2299. Breaking this 2299 makes this less likely that it's going to play out as a WXYXZ, but it wouldn't invalidate the possibility of actually just having this as a B, and then a C to the upside, and then just forming a bigger corrective pattern where this is an A, we have this as a B, and then we actually look to drop down later in that C. So we need to just bear this in mind. At the moment, there isn't good impulsive structure here. We can potentially count it in an impulsive way, but we'll discuss that in a second. But yeah, it's very choppy and overlapping. I was initially looking at the possibility of looking at this as a basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. However, the problem is this wave here is too short. It is shorter than the wave 1, so the wave 2, so it wouldn't fit that narrative of a diagonal. So pretty much we have to go with either a corrective structure or there's some extension going on here. So like I said, you know, we can argue that potentially this B wave could actually end up higher here, and we could be looking for some bullish potential here. So basically there's two ways that I was looking at this. So effectively off this low here, we can argue that potentially we could see something like this, where we look at this as a 1, 2, and then additional 1, 2. We'd have to, the problem is the internal counts here. It doesn't break any rules. We don't have the overlap, but generally speaking, what you want to see with a third wave is a more vertical move. So it just doesn't really fit in that sense. But if this was the case that the B waves completed here, this could be a wave 1, which you do sometimes get a little bit less impulsive structure in, just because of the fact that there's no belief in the rally. So if we were looking at this, effectively we'd look at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, then this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up into this high, and then potentially looking at this yellow circled fourth count here. So we've really come into that zone that we would want to only come down to. We can see that 382, we've come down and met it. The lowest would really want to come as this 50%, and invalidation would actually come by taking this high point here of this 2420. So if we do move down below that, it would invalidate this potential as we have it marked out here, and it would basically invalidate this fifth wave here. Though really, you know, until we actually take this low point again of this 1973, we can always see some extension. And what we'd have to be careful of is that, you know, we could see this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. This could then be an additional 1, 2 here, or it could be extending already within this phase here. So we're going to discuss that in a second. But if we did start to break down a bit deeper here, what we could still do is find support in this 2442 to this $23 range. The golden pocket would actually be here in this little consolidation range here at this 2383 to this 2367. So that could also be quite an interesting zone if this is going to look to push up one more time in a bigger 5-wave structure. And basically what that would then mean is that the problem is counting like this, it becomes less reliable unless it actually starts to prove itself. Basically we'd have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we'd actually be looking for that much bigger, stronger third wave to come in. At the moment we aren't getting good impulsive vibes off of this move, so it's not really floating my boat at the moment. But if we do start to move up here for this for this fifth wave into this 2871 to this 2770. What I'd then be looking for is that potential additional fourth wave back here into this 2638 to this 2454, and then basically looking to see whether we actually get an additional push to the upside here. So if we went down to, I'm actually going to go down to this 50% because that wave 2 would have been quite shallow. Effectively, that could look to push us up to this 3055 to this zone here. Let me delete this, to this zone of this 2901. So this could be a little pocket that we could actually look to move up into in a 5-wave structure if we do actually get these waves form, where we get this third wave complete here, fourth and then fifth to the upside, looking to target out this zone. This would also bring us into that area of that yellow line from back there, and potentially this could offer us a rejection point. If we did form a 5-wave structure like this, what my next basically my next thing I'd be looking out for would be actually looking for the retracement to the downside. Once we get this retracement down, what we'd be looking for is this 2467 to this 2171. As long as we hold that 2171, we can still look for that potential to extend to the upside here. So these are all possibilities, and it just needs to play out a little bit more, and we need to get a bit more structure. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm looking at the moment for any kind of a breakout. There is always the possibility, I don't know what that channel's doing there, but basically there is always the possibility, like I said, we could have some extensions within here where we could have this as a 1-2 and a 1-2, and then effectively you could look at this as a potential another 1-2 here, and then actually this is starting to push to the upside here. But you want to see this strong impulsive move starting to play out here. If they do start to do this, then we can start to argue that there is going to be some extension. We can see it's starting to slope here a little bit more. So it could start to actually push up here, or alternatively, it could just sort of fail, and then basically this is the end of that corrective structure and we look to break down. But for as long as we hold this zone of this 2411, and we are holding this wave 2 position here, which is this 25.2 to this 24.74, we can still look for that potential to push up for that third wave. If I throw this onto here, like I said, this move to the downside could always be extending out, but we've already come down to that 1-to-1 off of this high. So the next sort of zones I'd be looking for if we do push down one more time here would be this 24.72 and this 2450 at this 1.382 zone. So this would be something that we can potentially look at, if we do actually look to continue down here. But really, once we break this 2411, it would invalidate this potential of this extension here as we have it, and it would actually also look to invalidate that potential bullish move as well at that point, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so effectively, if we do drop below that point, all the sort of bullishness within this count starts to fall apart, unless, like I said, we're getting an additional 1 and a 2 here, and then we're going to push up in a bigger structure. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it is very difficult to count it as an impulse, and I don't really like it. Like I said, we haven't broken any rules here, but it needs to... It just doesn't really have the right shape. If it starts to extend out and we still get these additional pushes within these waves, and we continue to set these higher highs here, there is still that possibility we have something like this playing out. But for the most part, I do think we're going to start to see some downside come in here. So it's going to be important whether this downside actually manages to avoid crossing some of these key points here, and holding this 2411, this 2145, and then finally this 1973. If we do start to lose that, then I'll be looking for that potential of coming back down here into this support zone, looking for that support to see whether we can have a continuation to the upside in the C wave, or alternatively the bigger wave 3 if we are looking for that more bullish aspect. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and why not leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. In the description, you'll also find affiliate links for PrimeXBT and BYBIT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you don't have an account, using the affiliate link does help support us, and we do appreciate it. Just please remember, if you're going to be trading, use correct risk management, use stop losses, position yourselves correctly, and yeah, just be sensible about the way you're doing it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.